Let's talk about the Islamic story of the first human being. In Hadith, the Islamic Prophet Muhammad reports that the first human being in history was named Adam, and that he was 60 cubits tall. 1 cubit is about 1.5 feet in length, so 60 cubits is approximately 90 feet. So, what would a 90-foot tall human look like? Using physics, we can apply something called the square-cube law to determine how heavy a 90-foot giant human would be. Let's start with a human of relatively normal height and weight. If we double his height, his weight is now 640 kilograms. Double it again, and he weighs 5 tons. Double it again, and he weighs 40 tons, and is taller than a house. One last doubling, and our Adam is 90 feet tall, and weighs 327 tons. He is as tall as 15 normal-sized people stacked on top of one another. Is a 327-ton biped actually physically possible? How strong is human bone? Geneticist J. Haldane once wrote an essay called On Being the Right Size. The following quote is from that essay. Let us consider a giant man 60 feet high. His total weight is 1,000 times that of a human, or about 80 to 90 tons. The cross-sections of his bones is only 100 times those of a human, so that every square inch of giant bone has to support 10 times the weight borne by a square inch of human bone. As the human thigh bone breaks under about 10 times the human weight, he would break his thigh bones every time he takes a step. So, as a 90-ton giant's bones would break instantly, it is clear that so too would a 327-ton giant's bones. His bones would snap before he took a single step, and he would fall to the ground, dead. But what about historical giants? The tallest human in recorded history is Robert Wadlow. He was just under 9 feet tall. Like almost all exceptionally tall people in recorded history, he suffered lifelong medical problems, and died at age 22. It seems the human body cannot live long at 9 feet tall, let alone 90 feet tall. There are also other facts that prevent 90-foot human giants from being physically possible. To mention just a few. No biological heart could pump blood so high up a biped, and even if it could, no blood vessels could be strong enough to contain the blood pressure without rupturing. No biological muscles could be strong enough to lift the weight of such heavy limbs. No biological tendon could be strong enough to hold muscles under such tension secure to bones without snapping. Nerve signals would travel proportionally slowly in such a giant, leading to inability to coordinate simple tasks like balancing without falling over. So much air would have to be forced down the windpipe to keep the blood oxygenated. Constant 900-mile-per-hour wind would rupture the giant's windpipe. Dear Muslim viewer, even if you do not accept the scientific theory of evolution by random mutation and non-random natural selection, that does not make the theory of human evolution from 90-foot giants valid by default. As I have shown, from multiple different angles, the Islamic theory of evolution as stated in Sahih Hadith by Muhammad, is physically impossible. I am not going to lay out the evidences as to why Darwin's theory of evolution is likely true, only point out that Muhammad's theory is certainly false, so if you are interested in believing true things instead of false things, I encourage you to reject Muhammad's impossible theory, and look for what evidence can be found elsewhere. Thank you for watching, and remember, if you pray, the atheist Messiah will not hear you. In that, you can believe.